Welcome to the second episode of the Growler Motorsports YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about some different ways that you can save money when purchasing a car from a car dealership. These tips are vehicle and dealer agnostic, so it shouldn't really matter what car you're applying these to. These practices should pretty much work for anything. But just last weekend I went out and I bought a new Subaru BRZ, so that's what my experience will be documenting. And since it was last week, it's all fresh in my head, and I have all the paperwork here that I can share. So I'm going to walk you through every step of the process. The first thing I did was research the car that I was interested, get all the information I possibly could, make sure it was definitely the one I wanted. And then once I chose a car that I was definitely interested in buying, I searched local inventory, found the dealership that had the car, the exact car that I was looking for, and then I made plans to go to the dealership on a Saturday afternoon at 3, and I believe they closed at 5 or 6. By doing that, I guarantee I'm not spending the entire day at the dealership. I probably could have even trimmed it down a little bit and went at 4 o'clock to make my experience a little quicker and more convenient, but I got there at the dealership at 3 o'clock. I walked around the lot looking for the car to make sure they still had it. It was there. And then I went up and I talked to a salesperson and said, hey, listen, I'm just in the shopping. I'm just browsing. I haven't really made up my mind yet, but there's a car on your lot that I'd like to test drive. Can we do that? He said, absolutely. Of course, he wants to make the sale, so he's not going to say no. He went back and he got the keys. We went out and we took it for a test drive, and I loved it. It was a great car. I put it through its paces. It was exactly what I was looking for. It was amazing. Maybe I was smiling and sharing my love of the car a little bit too much. You should probably play it cool when you're car shopping and make it sound like, the car doesn't have enough power, or I don't really like the color. That kind of sets you off on a better foundation for negotiating the price later. But it is what it is, and I told him I really like the car and I would like to buy it, but my budget was $50,000. I told him my budget was $40,000, and I looked at the sticker, the window sticker on the car, and it was actually $40,291. So I knew I was going to be over $40,000 to begin with. So after the test drive, I told the dealer or the car salesman that I really liked the car, but I felt like it was just a little bit out of my budget and I probably wouldn't be able to afford it. He asked me what my budget was. I told him $40,000. He said, ouch, that's going to be a tough one because the sticker's already over $20,000 or $40,000. And I told him that my $40,000 price had to be out the door. All taxes, registration, fees, title, license plate, taxes, everything had to be included in that price. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to close. So he told me he wouldn't be able to do that, but he said he would run back to his sales manager and see what they could do for me. So they did that, and he came back pretty quickly, about 5 or 10 minutes later, and he shared with me this first cost estimate that they gave me. And I was shocked because the sticker price of the car was $40,291. This first estimate came out to $48,663, and that didn't include any financing fees. So, and he highlighted a little section here for me that said, oh, well, that's because we added PermaPlate, which is like a Scotch guard for the fabric and like an undercoating for the car. He's like, we also added lifetime oil changes, which is $1,000, and we added an extended warranty on there for you for another $4,500, and we added $325 for, I don't know, it looks like some lifetime subscription to the Subaru app. And I said, well, that's crazy. There's no way I can afford that. Can you take all these numbers off and see if you can do a little bit better? And, he's trying to make money. He's trying to throw in everything he can to get a bigger commission. But he went back to his sales manager and he came back with this next cost estimate. In this estimate, he removed all of those extra fees And even with the taxes, the title, the license plate, the transfer fees, everything, it came out to $41,503. I was like, well, that's significantly different. That's like $7,000 less than the last estimate. So we were getting close, and I was pretty happy. But again, it was over $40,000. I gave him a hard limit. I said I would have to talk to my wife for anything over $40,000. So at that point, I said, thank you for your time. If this is the best you can do, I'm going to head home and talk to the wife. And he said it was. So I left. So I was only at the dealership for two and a half hours maybe, because I left before they closed. So I wasn't even there for they didn't hold me that long. And that was on a Saturday. They're closed on Sunday. So he had the whole weekend to think about it. I had the whole weekend to think about it. And then on Monday morning, he texted me and asked me what I thought about the car. Was I still interested? I wish I had the text chain that I could share with you, but I deleted it. But I told him I loved the car, and I told him I still can't go that high. And I asked him again, can you please come down to $40,000 out the door with tax, title, and all the fees included? He said no, but he came back $500 lower. So now we were at $41,000. We're very close. It's a very nice car. I did a little bit of research here. I went into Gemini again, my favorite AI tool. And I asked, what is the invoice price compared to the sticker price on a new 2026 Subaru BRZ, and how much can I expect to save by negotiating? This showed me that the dealer invoice was about $34,656. Actually, I had the TS here, so $36,858. So I could potentially. There's a margin of $2,697 that I could save. I know they're not going to come all the way down to their invoice, because if they come down to their invoice, they're not making any money. But again, I asked them, can you come down to $40,000 out the door, which was like almost exactly the dealer invoice, and he said no. We were at $41,500. He actually came down to $41,000, and at that point, I figured the best way to get more out of them would be to ask them if they could throw in some dealer installed accessories. So this is where I pulled up the Subaru site. I built my car, and I got to the screen that shows all the different accessories that I could get. And they have here the auto dimming mirror with compass and home link. That would have been nice. That was actually included in the car purchase, so that was on the window sticker price. I didn't need that. The rear cargo tray, again, that would have been nice. It was included on my build, so it was already in the price. I'm not really interested in the windshield. The all-weather floor liners were kind of interesting. The battery charger. I think the door scuff protectors are already included, so that was in my build. And a couple other things like the first aid kit, the mud flaps, bumper applique, lug nuts, exterior graphics kit, footwell illumination kit, rear bumper diffuser, trunk spoiler, shift knob, vortex. So there's a bunch of stuff here, but I was trying to keep it reasonable to see if there's anything they'd throw in. So I asked them, can you throw in the STI shift knob? Because that's $242. And I also asked him to throw in the footwell illumination kit for another $216. So that adds up to like 450 something. He's like, no, that's too much. I can't do that. No, he's exaggerating. If I could have held out longer and waited closer towards the end of the month and let him sweat a little bit, I probably could have got some more accessories thrown in. Because when you think about these accessories, this is what they charge the customer: $242 for a shift knob and $216 for the illumination kit. But their price has a markup on it, so they're probably paying, maybe 60% of that price. So yeah, $216, and maybe it was cost them $125 if they wanted to throw it in, and the shift knob $242. It might have cost them $180 or something like that if they wanted to throw it in, but they didn't. They weren't willing to come down that far. But I was like, hey, listen, I'll buy the car at $41,000 if you can throw in a set of these all-weather floor liners for $107. And he's like, 41,000 and the floor liners? Okay, deal. So we finally came to a price that we agreed upon. And then surprisingly, that was Monday around 2 or 3, we agreed on the price. I told him I'd come in after 4 to close on it. So I asked my wife if she was free to take me to the dealership so that I could buy my car and drive it home. And she's like, there's no way if you just agreed on a price today that you'll be driving it home today. But sure enough, I got the agreement I wanted. I went to the dealership. I'll show all these papers in a second here, but I got the deal I wanted. I signed a few papers. They handed me the keys and I drove it home. The other reason I was really interested in buying the car exactly now was because they were running a promotion for 3.9% financing. So I only had to put a little bit of money down, and the interest rate was very low, over 4 years. So I could afford the payments, and there's other things I can invest in that will make me more money than I'm losing on the interest. So it was definitely a worthwhile purchase. So those are a few things that you can do, hopefully, to help you negotiate a lower price on your next car purchase. Just remember to go in a few hours before closing so that you're not stuck there all day. Tell them ahead of time that you have a certain price that you have to hit. Don't share how much you like the car if you can, because that will definitely help with negotiations. And absolutely, on the first day when you're there, walk away. No matter what their offer is, they'll always have a better one. So on the first day, always walk away. These are limited production cars. They know they were going to sell it at some point, but I drug him out for 3 days, another 2 or 3 days, and I might have been able to get another $500 off. But to me, it wasn't worth it, because that's the exact color and model and make of car that I wanted, with all the options that I needed. So I wanted the car probably more than he wanted to sell it. But if you're on the flip side, you can definitely save more money. So, and then once you get to your final price that everyone agrees on, see if they'll throw in some dealer accessories. That's always an option. Don't forget about that, because it's an easy way for you to get things that don't cost the dealership a whole lot of money. So that's pretty much all I have for you today. Don't forget to smash the like button, and keep an eye out for my next video. I'm planning to do a review of my car. I've had it for a week now. By the time I do my video, it'll probably be a week and a half or 2 weeks in. Over 100 miles, so the review will have a lot of information in it. And after that, we're going to start doing some custom installs. So keep an eye out for new episode drops. And again, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for your time. Bye.